I will talk in more detail about our strategy of disseminating La Paz experience and anti-corruption methodology. So the question we had to answer was how to transfer and replicate a one-time successful experience in other countries and local governments. Here is our strategy, how we developed it. So first we decided to develop an anti-corruption methodology that would replicate La Paz success. Then we had two main activities in parallel. One was to build capacity of anti-corruption practitioners so that they are able to apply the anti-corruption methodology and work with mayors and local governments. And the second activity was to raise awareness and interest of mayors and public managers about this new anti-corruption approach so that they are open to work with the certified, trained anti-corruption practitioners. And the last activity was to support the best anti-corruption practitioners to work with the more open and willing mayors and public managers. So how we developed this anti-corruption methodology? We followed the principles of David Kolb experiential learning model. This model shows us how people learn. First, they have an experience. After this experience, they reflect on it. After that, they conceptualize the experience, drawing out lessons learned that are applied in a new experience. In that way, people assure that they may repeat successes and avoid the mistakes. Based on observing and conceptualizing La Paz successful experience, the Islands of Integrity methodology was elaborated as a participatory and strategic process. So I will talk separately about the participatory aspect and then about the strategic aspect of the anti-corruption methodology. So, the participatory process, what does it mean? It means that it starts from inside the organization and is endorsed by the leader of the organization. It means that in process are involved managers, staff, as well as outside stakeholders. Here is a model of a scheme of participation. As you see, as we progress in the process, more and more people participate in it. So first we have the anti-corruption practitioners who work with the mayor. Then the mayor assigns a contact person, and with mayor support, a guiding coalition is formed that will support mayor effort in applying the anti-corruption methodology and reforming the organization. These guiding coalition members are mostly decision makers, and they work further with managers and staff from their departments. In that way, in the diagnosis process, also in elaboration of solution process, slowly the entire organization is involved. When the stage is to develop strategies and solutions, working groups are formed around the priority domain that were identified in the organization. In these working groups are invited also outside stakeholders who can support, develop good quality solutions, or who can support, implement these solutions. What happens due to this participatory process? A deeper shared understanding of the corrupt systems in place emerges. and a treatment plan is developed for curing and prevention that no outside consultant could better do. Commitment is created for the planned changes implementation. It is proven that people involved in creating something, they start loving it, they start being emotionally involved in the results, and they support actions planned implementation. What are the main assumptions on which the participatory process relies? One of them is that most people are basically honest, that there are public officials and local government staff willing to address corruption and improve their organization, and that corruption is only a symptom which causes rely in the context in which people live and work. So by shaping an appropriate context, we should be able to prevent corrupt behavior. The context can be changed through the anti-corruption methodology strategic process. This strategic process follows the strategic planning steps, meaning the logic is that first we have to know where we are. So first we have to diagnose the existing situation. Then we have to imagine where we want to be, what are our vision and objectives. And thirdly, we have to decide how to go from where we are to where we want to be, so to develop solutions and strategies. Analytical frameworks are applied to diagnose and identify solutions. What are these frameworks? First of all, one framework is the so-called cost-benefit analysis, who answer the question how people decide to be or not to be corrupt. These frameworks demonstrate that the temptation to be corrupt appears when the benefits of being corrupt are bigger than the costs of being corrupt. So that means the probability of being caught is low, penalties when caught are mild and not always enforced, and benefits are big. In that way, corruption, we can say, it's a rational economic crime. It's not a crime of passion, an irrational crime. It's an economic crime based on rational calculation of costs and benefits. Also, actors in the organization have different roles. One are principals, like the leaders of the organization, mayors, public managers. Other are clients, those who receive the services offered by the organization led by the principal. But because principals cannot offer their services directly, they work with so-called agents, public officials, tax collectors, and other experts in public administration. So the temptation to be corrupt appears when one of these actors has the monopoly over services provision, has the power to take discretionary decisions without being accountable to each other, and working in a non-transparent way. This is actually the famous corruption formula of Robert Klitgaard. Corruption equal monopoly plus discretion minus accountability, transparency. So after developing the anti-corruption methodology based on these concepts, we focused on two main activities. One was raising awareness of public leaders about this anti-corruption approach, and the other was building the capacity